Welcome back to the old Photo Vault channel. The Electric Experiment, Unknown Laboratory, circa 1920s. They said it was progress. But as the wires hummed and the light above her flickered, something inside that room stopped being human. The experiment didn't just change her, it changed everything. The puppet audience, collector's room, 1930s. In this room, every smile is painted, and every silence remembers a voice that once spoke. He built them to talk, now they only stare, waiting, always waiting. The Mechanical Family, Countryside, circa 1940s. They called it the perfect family. No arguments, no tears, just gears and steel hearts ticking in unison. Yet, sometimes at night, the youngest one still dreams of something warm. The Circus of Smiles, Traveling Fair, 1910s. They laughed for the crowd, even when their souls were tired. Under the painted masks, the jokes turned sour, and laughter became something hollow. The circus moved on, but the echoes stayed. Behind the Monster, Tokyo Studio, 1954. Before he destroyed cities, he was made of rubber and dreams. A man inside the monster, sweating beneath the legend he didn't yet know he'd become. The camera rolled, and humanity created its first god. The Screaming Beauty, unknown film set, 1980s. She screamed for the camera, latex teeth, painted fear. But the sound that left her lips felt too real, as if the mask had swallowed her whole. Sometimes, acting doesn't end when the scene cuts. The Skull of Giants, construction site, circa 1900s. They said it was a movie set, but the earth remembers otherwise. Beneath the soil, they found something too large, too ancient to be pretend, and the camera only captured what it was allowed to see. The eyes that see too much. Unknown origin, 1920s. She saw it, whatever it was, and her eyes forgot how to close ever since. Some say the photo captured her fear. Others think it captured what she saw. The man who forgot to blink, unknown date. He hasn't blinked in years. They say he looked into something that stared back and never recovered. Now, every photograph he's in keeps watching. The Lady and the Beast, Private Menagerie, 1932. She tamed the tiger, or maybe it tamed her. For a moment, beauty and danger breathed the same air. And the camera caught the heartbeat of something neither human nor wild. The Forest Thing. Trail camera capture, unknown year. It moved between the trees, thin as shadow, tall as hunger. The forest had gone quiet long before it appeared and hasn't spoken since. The Three-Eyed Ram, private collection, circa 1930s. They said the third eye was a birth defect, but when they tried to close it, the others opened wider. Some things are not meant to see or be seen. The Garden Dancers, unknown field, 1912. They danced for joy, they said, but their hands never let go, even after the music stopped. The flowers grew thicker around that circle every year. The Masked Woman, unknown photographer, circa 1940s. She wore the mask for the play and forgot to take it off. By morning, her face had molded to the smile, and her name was no longer remembered. The Lady in Decay, abandoned studio portrait, 1920s. She asked the photographer to make her look eternal. He did. Now, the picture ages instead of her, and the eyes still follow. The Man and the Butterfly, city miniature, 1950s. He found it perched on a skyscraper, wings trembling like time itself. For a second, the city seemed alive again, before the butterfly flew away, taking the dream with it. The Goat King, Ritual Valley, unknown era. They bowed before the Horned One, whispering names that shouldn't be spoken. The moon turned red that night, and every shadow learned to listen. The girl with the rabbit mask, Forest Path, 1960s. She wandered into the woods wearing the rabbit's face. They searched for her for days until they realized the rabbit had never left the forest. The performer, Budo Stage, 1970s. He moved like a corpse, remembering how to live. Every gesture was pain, every breath a prayer. In the silence that followed, even ghosts applauded. The Drowned Woman, lake photograph, unknown year. She floated there for hours, her eyes open to the sky. They say the water never froze again after that, as if it still remembered her warmth. The Gaslight Sisters, City Street, 1942. They walked arms in arm through the silence, carrying the future on their chests. The war had taken their faces, so they borrowed new ones, made of metal and air. The Frog Maiden, Unknown Studio, 1930s. She smiled proudly with her pictures. Gifts from a pond that no longer ripples. They say she never touched water again, afraid it might call her name. The Girl and the Bird, family portrait, circa 1920s. She held it close, a bird too heavy to fly, too dead to decay. The photo was supposed to capture innocence. Instead, it captured the beginning of silence. The Owl Woman, costume rehearsal, unknown year. She watched the world through feathers and glass, half woman, half watcher. The costume was meant for a play, but the play never ended. The Two Friends, Suburban Yard, 1950s. They dressed as monsters to make each other laugh. But when the photo developed, only one shadow appeared. No one remembers which one it was. The Barbecue Family, backyard gathering, 1940s. They said it was a joke. Masks for fun, a baby for show. Yet, years later, the neighbors swore they could still smell the smoke. The Man in the Window, abandoned house, unknown year. He never leaves the window. They say he's waiting for the knock that never came. If you pass by at night, don't look up. He's still waiting. The Written Girl, experimental studio, 1960s. They wrote on her to keep the voices inside quiet. Every word a spell, every letter a lock. But silence, like ink, always spreads. The Forest Twins, rural village, 1910s. They were found holding hands, eyes closed, as if mid-prayer. The forest around them had grown in circles, guarding something it refused to forget. The Mourning Father, post-mortem portrait, 1890s. He wanted one last picture of his little girl, standing, smiling, alive. The photographer obliged, and somewhere between the shudder and the soul, she almost was. The Veiled Bride, W.H. Abbott Studio, 1889. They said she wore pages of her own obituary beneath the veil. Every word wrapped around her bones, a story only the dead could finish. The Corner Child, abandoned house, 1915. She faced the wall for hours, whispering to something no one could see. When they moved her, the shadow stayed behind, still facing the corner. The Rabbit and the Patient, hospital ward, 1950s. They brought the rabbit costume to cheer her up. But when the nurse came back, the costume was empty, and the woman was smiling again. The White Horse Ritual, countryside, 1949. The children laughed as the horse bowed. No one noticed the rope tightening or the man whispering behind the veil. Some games aren't meant to end. The Butcher, Men Only Club, 1933. He said the mask was for hygiene. Yet every time the door closed, another silence joined the room. Thick, metallic, and breathing. The Giant and His Daughters, Traveling Fair, 1904. They called him the Gentle Giant. He never let go of their hands, even when the lights went out. and the fairground was empty. The Smiling Men, City Parade, 1939. They wore smiles so wide they tore. The parade ended, but the smiles didn't. The streets still echo when it rains. The Creatures Makeup, Film Studio, 1956. They said it was just a costume. But when he tried to take it off, the jaws stayed, and so did the screen. The Rabbit Returns, Shop Display, unknown year. The shop owner swore it moved on its own at night. The cobwebs never gathered on its teeth, only on the floor beneath. The Family Portrait, Living Room, 1952. The children cried for hours after this picture. The man in the rabbit mask said nothing, but the camera caught him blinking. The Garden Beasts, Ritual Ground, 1928. They rose from the soil wearing the faces of men. The villagers called it a festival. The forest called it a return. The Cat Gentleman, Parlor Portrait, 1907. He insisted he was born this way, fur, whiskers, and all. The photographer charged double, saying the eyes blinked twice during exposure. The Mountain Keeper, Unknown Expedition, 1911. They said he guarded the northern pass. No map marks his home, but every compass trembles when you get too close. The Possessed Muse, Artist Studio, 1923. She posed for hours, eyes rolled to heaven. When the painter finished, the body fell, but the face kept floating. The Mad Smile, Psychiatric Archive, 1951. She said the laughter wasn't hers. It just borrowed her mouth for a while. The doctor stopped asking questions after that. The Doll Sister, Family Tintype, 1895. They took one last photo before bedtime. In the morning, the doll was still warm, and the bed was empty. The Traveler and the Toad, Field Study, 1938. He claimed the creature carried his memories for him. When it croaked, he forgot his own name. The Giant's Last Stand, Studio Composite, 1933. They built him from film and nightmares. But when the reels burned, the creature didn't vanish. It walked off the screen. The Blurred Woman, Damage Negative, 1940s. Her face was lost in the fire, they said. Yet every time the photograph is developed again, the burn grows wider. The Masked Child, Suburban Driveway, 1956. He stood outside every morning wearing that paper smile. When the parents asked who made it, he just said, "You did." The Still-Eyed Girl, Parlor Portrait, 1889. She never blinked, not once during the sitting. The photographer said the glass plate cracked the moment she smiled. The Experiment, Laboratory Control Room, 1963. The test subject survived the blast, but his skin remembered every scream. The man in the suit swore he saw the future in those melting eyes. The Iron Throne, House Portrait, 1898. She sat as if born to the chair. They said her ancestors carved it from a single beast that once guarded the manor gates. The Date with the Monster, Tokyo Backlot, 1957. Between takes, he held her umbrella so the rubber wouldn't crack in the sun. For a moment, even monsters knew how to be gentle. The Awakening of Godzilla, City on Fire, 1954. He roared not from rage, but from memory, the kind buried beneath oceans and bombs. Humanity called it fiction. The ruins called it truth.